Yeah, hi. I'm looking for Melanie. My name's Matt. I'm calling about her listing
Uh,
on Dan Street.
yeah, I can help you. I'm her husband. We're both agents.
Oh, cool. Who am I speaking with?
Josh?
Oh, hi, Josh. Yeah. So, what is it? Looks like is it possibly owner occupied? What's going on there?
So, she is actually in the process of looking for a new home.
Mm,
And we did put an offer in on a house, and we have to get her house under contract first
okay,
before they accept the offer.
that's fine. Okay, how's activity been?
We've had a good amount of showings. People are more afraid of the garage than anything because the, the floor is basically heaving up because of the garage, the tree in the back.
Got it. Got it. What's the
So the
floor of
garages
the?
have to be torn down. The
Okay.
inside needs painted and needs new flooring.
Of the house.
Yeah, the inside it will need new flooring. I mean, it's the all the flooring is probably about 10 to 15 years old.
Got it. Do you think it's a little pricey if it needs that much work, or yeah, that
Um,
seems to be a little
she's negotiable on the price.
okay.
We are doing a price reduction down to 90,
Yeah, I see that.
but
Yeah,
but the house, if it was redone, would actually be worth closer to 120.
right. But tearing down a garage and having to put all new flooring could be extremely expensive. Not to mention most people don't want
Well,
to do it.
actually, I actually had it. I just replaced the flooring in a house that had the same layout,
Hmm.
and I got it replaced for 5,400. And that was actually doing laminate in the kitchen, living room, dining room, and going all the way up the steps, and then just doing carpeting in the bedrooms.
Right, right. But then you have to tear down the garage. Um,
Yeah, that's probably going to be about $3,500.
okay.
Um, the worst case, it's going to be probably between 35 and 5
Right,
that
right.
have that torn down. I mean, not too many houses in Akron do have garages, so I mean, it's not the end of the world. Um, but I mean, if you did want to build a new one, there's plenty of space back there to do it because it's a
Hmm.
pretty nice size of yard.
Hmm. Um, yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. I'm an investor from LA, and I look for properties that I
Okay.
can purchase and hold for Section 8 rentals. So, I mean, I
hmm
totally hear what you're saying. I think probably a retail buyer does not want to buy a house and then have to tear their garage down. But so I think you're probably looking for an investor, right?
Yeah, we're looking at investors.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay.
I actually do property management, um, so I know what the rent rates would be.
Yeah.
Section 8 right there would be 1,300.
Yep.
So
Yep. That's true. I agree with you. Okay, so it's interesting. Thanks for all the
there is.
information.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't mean to interrupt you, but there is the potential. There is a fourth bedroom in the basement.
Yeah.
It does have an egress window. We just didn't consider it because it wasn't. The flooring was pulled up, and she thought that her husband was sick and he was spilling a lot of stuff. And there was he spilled something on the wall, so she had her son cut it off and thinking maybe that there was a leak going on, but there was no leak. The 2x4s are actually exposed. You can definitely see it that there was no leak or any mold, mildew, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
He must have spilled like coffee or something, so she freaked out and had her son cut it off. And but there is a actual fourth bedroom in the basement that if you just
Mm.
put new flooring down and paint it, it would be considered that fourth bedroom, and you get more rent then.
That would be huge. That is a huge bonus for sure. Um,
Yeah.
well, so let me throw something at you. I don't know. This might work perfectly or not. I mean, it actually sounds like it probably won't work because she is buying another house. I typically do Like give your asking price. I mean, I would do the 90K. I wouldn't sit and try to lowball you. I could work something out, obviously pay your commission, but if I was to give her list price, would she take it in terms?
Take it in terms.
Like payments, seller finance?
And then payments.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, seller financing?
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, she can't do seller financing because she needs the proceeds
Right.
from this house
Yep.
to put down on the other one.
Right. That's what I figured.
So unfortunately, the seller financing wouldn't work. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I get it. I mean, our office does seller financing, so we have a couple agents in the office that's what they do day in day out. So
Really?
it's, unfortunately, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can I send you my information and you put me in contact with one or all of them? Because that's what I do as well. I would love to work with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to send you my info. If you could either just send me theirs or pass mine along to them, whatever works. I would love to I'm always looking for agents that focus on seller financing and that understand the benefits of it. So I would really appreciate it if you could connect me with them.
Yeah, our CEO has been doing it for 17 years.
Awesome.
And then one of our partners that in our brokerage, we have 6 partners. My wife and I are 2 of the partners, and we have another one that's all he does. He's kind of like you. He actually buys properties all over the place and does seller financing, and then he turns around and he actually sells seller financing too. So he's been doing it for a very long time. And then our CEO, her son, actually, her and him actually do a lot of investors with seller financing. So
that's
basically
awesome.
how they do a lot of their contracts.
I'm literally I'm sending you a text right now, just with all my information and just a little reminder of like what I do and who I am. You can get text on that phone that I just. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. It didn't work out on this one,
You're
but
welcome.
heck, it looks like might even be a better situation. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Do you have somebody that manages your properties now?
So I do, but I mean, I'm always happy to look for new people just because, if you were to help me get a property over there, I'm more than happy to talk about property management. I mean, my guy is good, but he's super busy, so I'm not sure how many more he can handle. And so, it's always good to have someone,
Always have a backup.
Yeah, because I mean, all I really do is I look for Akron. I was looking a little bit for Cleveland, but I'm really just focusing on Akron right now. And he prefers Cleveland, so I'd be happy to find a local guy.
I don't.
You don't. You don't prefer
Um,
Cleveland at all?
No.
Tell me why.
No, well, so I actually do manage in Lorain County, Cuyahoga County, Summit, Stark, and Medina County.
Okay.
So Cuyahoga County is Cleveland, and the city of Cleveland has lead-based paint abatement. So if you buy a property, you have to have the house inspected.
Okay.
And if you fail, you have to deal with lead-based paint. But I mean, there's ways to get around it. It's called you have to, replace any windows that need to, make sure you cover any peeling paint with either vinyl or steel flashing or whatnot, or you paint it. Mm-hmm. That's the part but the thing is, when you paint it, you have to have that inspection done every 2 years.
Oof.
Eventually, this is going to trickle down to where the whole state of Ohio is going to end up doing it. Cleveland's just like the testing market right now.
Right.
But eventually, it's going to trickle down everywhere else. But there's just a lot of landlords that are not doing it and actually not doing these inspections.
Uh-huh.
I will manage in Cleveland and I will help buyers buy, but the problem is just trying to find that right property.
Right.
We do actually try to help you find other properties in other counties, like Lorain County, which is just west of Cleveland, you know, they don't have any of that stuff, and you can find really good rentals over there for the same. It's actually the same rent rate as Cleveland.
Okay.
So
is it the same county or
yeah, not totally different county?
Okay. Okay.
You're talking like half hour to 45 minutes west of Cleveland.
Got it. Oh, okay. Great.
Now you can actually do some of the suburbs of Cleveland, but the problem with some of the suburbs of Cleveland, you're dealing with what they call POS. POS is point of sale inspections. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's what I'm dealing with now. Is I have a client that's buying in Maple Heights. So Maple Heights is kind of southeast of Cleveland, and these POS inspections are just the exterior. What they do is they go look for like tripping hazards for driveways and stuff like that. And if they're not up to their code, then you have to replace it.
Right.
They look at the roof. They look at tuck pointing. They look at the siding. So they look at all those things because they want the upkeep of the city to be better. Now,
Right.
there's other cities that they actually do the POS inspection on the interior and the exterior. Mm-hmm. So if the bathroom isn't up the way they want it, they want you to replace it. Like, I actually just looked at a house that had $72,000 worth of POS violations.
Ooh. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with these POS violations, you have to put that money in escrow.
You're right. Right.
So there's no way of getting around it. You have to put it in escrow and get it done.
And that's only in Cleveland right now?
That's East Cleveland. It's eastern of Cleveland, so it's Maple Heights, Shaker Heights, Cleveland Heights. So those cities have that.
I noticed
Akron doesn't have it.
Yeah, those areas have really high property taxes compared to other places as well. So I like even
Correct.
you know. So whenever I see those heights at the end of it, I typically run like Garfield Heights, and it's heights apparently is a code word for it's about to get really pricey. So yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. But Lorain County, the taxes are cheap.
Right. Okay.
Akron, so I actually live in Akron.
Okay.
So Akron's taxes, they're all over the place. So you can get really, really cheap taxes, and then all of a sudden you're in like areas where the taxes are $4,000.
Yeah, I talked to someone where their taxes doubled, and they're trying to sell their rental because the taxes doubled. It threw off their entire cash flow, and they're literally losing money every month. It's scary. So, well, it sounds like you know a lot about the area. Can you please send me, like, just email me your information or anything. I'd love to speak to more agents in your office about seller finance, but it's so valuable to have a property manager that knows what he or she is talking about and knows the area. Because then when I call and say, hey, I'm about to get this property, you could say, don't do that. What are you thinking? Or be like, yeah, that's it. It's funny. That is what I do with my current property manager. I'll call and say, hey, I'm about to go in escrow. What do you think about this? And they'll say, like, you're good, but if you go one street over, you're not. Or, they'll say, look, it's a C plus neighborhood, but it's great for Section 8. So,
right.
Yeah, I would love to
absolutely
get your information.
Yeah, there's certain areas I even tell some of my clients now, I'm like, hey, just want to let you know, this has an AutoZone right down the street that has bars on it,
right?
An armed security guard. They close down at 3, so all service is done through a bulletproof glass window.
Oh my gosh.
How do you feel about that?
I don't feel very good about it.
And they're like, so when I say that, they go, okay, we're passing.
Yeah.
That's all I say. Because I actually went and looked at a house, and I had to go in this AutoZone because we had freezing rain, and my wiper got stuck and ripped. And I went into this AutoZone, and I told him about this AutoZone, and he was like, yeah, no, that's a hard pass. I said, okay, just want to let you know. I said, this is what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, I love
Yeah, I
that.
don't mind doing that.
Yeah, thank you. All right, well, I'll let you go. I just sent you my information.
Okay,
I look forward to
perfect.
chatting with you again, and thank you so much for all that information. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was nice talking to you, and
You as
hopefully we can
well.
do some business
Yeah,
someday.
and I'm curious if you wanted to send me a list of some of those. I really look at Akron, but maybe there's some other areas you were saying, outside of it that are going to make for really good rental areas, rental rates, and are close enough to Akron to where it still makes sense,
Yeah,
especially, if you would be the one driving over there, to
yeah.
manage it. Because I gotta be honest, Akron has got to be one of the hottest damn markets in the country. I don't know how or why, but it really is competitive. So, um, you
So
know,
it has been for 7 years.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty
I
crazy.
don't. It has been for, and the thing is so 7 years ago, you could have bought a house for you know $20,000, $30,000, and you could have rehabbed it, and then you were bringing in like $900 a month.
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's like those houses are anywhere between 50 and 75,
Yeah, but you don't understand. I'm from
and
LA. 50 to 75 is still a crazy bargain, and which is why
Jesus.
we're still coming. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
know.
And I've talked to agents all day. There's a lot of not only out of state investors, but out of country investors in Akron. And I think part of
Oh
it
yeah.
is, at least in my communities that I'm in, every investor says that Akron is one of the best markets. So it's sending a lot of people like me that are just listening to, our mentors and our, all the gurus out there that are really
Yep.
successful. And so instead of me going and researching a market, I'm like, I'm just going to go where I know it's successful, where it's already a
It's
great market.
yeah, it is successful, but it is getting saturated, just like because of all these gurus and all these
Right.
TikToks and
Yep.
Instagram and
TikTok,
podcasts are
TikTok and
saying. I mean,
Instagram.
it's. I
Yep.
mean, I
Yep.
mean, I have 10 investors that I'm working with now
Uh-huh.
myself. So with me and Melanie both being real estate agents, like we're constantly looking at houses for our own clients.
Right.
And, if I got 10 investors that have the cash flow to go ahead and buy properties like you, it's just, you know, look at all the other agents that are out there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
So, but it's been going like this for 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when it first started, Akron was hot, hot, hot. And I was like, wow, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but now it's getting more, and that's why we suggest other cities.
Mm-hmm.
Because Akron, there's so many people calling about Akron.
Yeah.
There's other areas that you can buy. Like I said, Lorain County, there's Lorain, Elyria, and then Canton is another one that you
Yep.
can buy in.
Okay.
The only downside is with Canton is so all the cities you have to sign up your properties as rentals
Yeah.
with the city and the county.
Yeah.
The only downside about Canton is you have to do an inspection with the city after you register as a rental.
Okay.
And they do a full inspection inside and out. Now, here's the thing. If you have the whole inside and out of the house looking good, you have nothing to worry about.
Right.
But if you have a bunch of things that are wrong with the house, if they find one thing, they're going to find 10. So you just have to make sure you're on top of the property and making sure it's staying up, and especially if you're doing Section 8, if you just think of having your property just ready for Section 8, you won't have to worry about it.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is it doesn't matter because I'm already dealing with a Section
Right.
8 inspection, and I'm really looking for
Right.
properties that are as turnkey as possible. Like I'm willing to put in between $3 to $5,000 in rehab, like some carpet, some paint. But when you start talking about tearing down a garage, that makes me a little bit nervous.
Right.
So I'm mitigating my risk by looking for properties that are fairly turnkey and they've just been sitting on the market
Right.
for a while. And the seller, maybe he owns a bunch of properties or he's going to retire and he is totally open to getting monthly payments, so he could just have that to offset his other expenses. And a lot of these investors see the value in not getting hit with that huge tax liability right up front because they own 50 properties. And they'd rather just get the little payments instead of they don't need to get large lump sum. They just don't really need it. Like this lady would be a horrible example because she needs it for a home purchase.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, the funny thing is there's not a lot of sellers out there that understand seller financing.
Right.
Because they all think it's land contracts.
Right.
And then to be honest with you, there's a lot of agents that don't know all the different things of seller financing. Like myself, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
But I know enough that all I have to do is walk over and talk to Kim and say, hey, I need you to walk me through this. We need to, and she'll help me write a contract, seller financing, and she can do it in her sleep. I mean, she's been doing it for so long.
It's a massive, it's like having a superpower in this market right now because with interest rates the way they are, and that's why I like to talk. That's why I got so excited when you said you have agents in your office that do it, because could be my biggest strength is when an agent has a client and they go and they properly explain the benefits. It's a slam dunk. But when an agent doesn't get it, they don't even present my offer because they think they're not going to get paid. They like you said, they think it's a land contract. They don't understand the benefits of it, and they just honestly want a simple deal. They want it to be done. They don't want to think about it, and they don't understand that I will legally own the property. I'm responsible for it. I deal with all the maintenance, taxes, insurance, and it's a great situation. And for a lot of these older people, because there are a lot of older people in Akron, it's a lot easier to leave a note to your heirs as opposed to a house that a lot of heirs don't want and don't want to deal with.
Right.
And we see that where they inherit a house and like, I have no idea. This was my dad's thing. I don't want to deal with it. But if you can inherit that note and you can get that monthly payment and pass it on to your kids after it's an inheritance. And it's, I mean, how cool would that be if instead of giving some crappy old dumpy house with a tenant that's not paying their rent, instead giving them $500 a month for the next 10 years. And I mean, that's amazing,
That and the emotion is taken out of it.
Exactly. So
because once they have that emotion, it's really hard.
It's hard, and they don't really know what to do with it. And if they're an out of state heir, they start to get super stressed out, and they just unload it, or it sits vacant. I've seen it all. So, anywho, I will. I'm really, really glad that we spoke, and I look forward to talking again. So, please. Get me your information, get me anyone else in your office information that I can work with, and let's get a deal done so we can get you managing a property. Sound good?
All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a fantastic day. Yep, take care.